Full power!
Pretty bold, aren't we? I'll take care of you myself.
Reload. Reload. Reload.
Theo! Mission 1, start! Thank you. Heavy machine gun. Thank you. Heavy machine gun. fischei. Thank you. Enemy chaser. Heavy machine gun.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's STPL. Of course, as always, I'm running late, so we are about 15 minutes behind schedule almost, so we'll see if we can speed this up a little bit so we don't go on too long. We've got two series for you today. Here's the format, just in case you've not seen it before. Always used to show this off. Best of 5. All the games are played at the same time regardless of the outcome. Lineup selected in advance, and set 5 is the ace match, which means any player can compete again, of course. It's been a long-standing rule in the STPL. You guys should be used to it by now. Let's head on over to the camera. I'll explain maybe a little bit of why I was late. Not that it really counts, because I am basically always late. That's just my default state. I would like to be on time more often, but then I get caught up with things before the stream, and then before I know it, it's 5 minutes before the stream, and I'm nowhere near ready. So that's why I'm late. Hopefully you don't mind it. We had kind of a weird, or I had a really weird day at work today, so it's kind of been a little bit funky. My head's been all over the place, and I also didn't get much sleep either. So regardless, we have two series coming up today. Now, just a reminder, this is the last week of the STPL before Christmas, so after Friday, there will be no more STPL games until the 10th of January. That's just kind of a way I can give the players a break, give me a break as well. We've got a lot of games coming up today on Rosen Bridge, which is kind of cool. Rosen Bridge has been a pretty good map so far. But let's just jump into it. There's not really much else I can say. Let's head into our first series. So just to show off to begin with, whoa, I completely broke everything, didn't I? Either way, we'll fix that for after. I completely didn't realize, but you just saw like the weird world I'm in, which is how that whole green screen thing works. But either way, yeah, here we are. I fixed it for next time. But here are the standings so far. We're 3 weeks in now. This is our 4th week, so things are kind of looking a little bit more stable, especially near the top of the table. We've got a lot of our best teams up near the top. I'm just actually going through it myself because I've not actually read this so far this season. We've got Soul and Net Wars both at the top, are both unbeaten so far. And Naz were up there as well. They were looking like they weren't going to be beaten. And then Ash beat them in their first ace match victory this season. So Ash got the hold of a win. But the top 6 at the moment are Soul Gaming, Net Wars, Wiko, Naz, IRK, and Ash. With Red trailing just behind Ash. Revolution trailing just behind Red, and then DM and Psystorm still without a win on the board. But today is going to be their chance to get that win. Let's have a look at the lineups. We kind of already know the teams by this point. The lineup's pretty cool, even though Red have sent out 4 Protoss players again. We've only got 1 PvP, which is a bonus. We have Michael versus LML on Rosen Bridge, so that should be quite fun. Cold versus rOuta on Desert Dwellers, that's going to be a ZvP. Then we've got the return of Glaive again, that's going to be a TvP on... TvP on Neo Glaive. And then we've got a ZvP on Paradise between mitak and fischei. So pretty good set of players here. Looking forward to getting into them. Because I am running so late, let's kind of jump straight into the game. There's not really much to say. We'll have a look at the map just in case you haven't seen it before. But Rosen Bridge, one of our cooler new maps this season made by Gosomi. It's semi-island, semi-land. The games we've had here so far haven't looked super one-sided. But it's all well and good. Asker asks, how do they decide who plays the 5th match if it's played? Both teams message each other with who they want to play. They pick it on the day, so it's not picked ahead of time or anything. Usually they'll pick it based on who feels the best after the match, and then they'll play them. But let's have a look at the game. It's game number 1. It's Rosen Bridge. It's a PvP. Our 3rd one so far. Let's get into it. Okay, starting us off over here on the top right-hand position on an island, fighting for red in the peach. It's LML. And LML's opponent spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner, fighting in the magenta. On the other island, we have island versus island here. It's Michael fighting for Psi. So it's an island versus island PvP. This should be very, very cool. I don't think the fact that both spawn on an island should make any difference, because at the end of the day, when you spawn on this map, and I brought this up before, and I can't remember who it was I was talking to, but it was one of the players was saying that if you spawn on the mainland, you have to treat it like you're playing on the island. Because if you plan for your opponent to be on the mainland, there's a 66% chance they won't be, and you will just lose. Like, there's no point going for any form of build to take advantage of just hoping that your opponent is on the mainland. Now, interestingly, we've got Michael going for tech here, whereas LML is going to go for 12 next. When I say tech, he's going for a gateway. I mean, the gateway can be used to build a zealot to kill the hive, but yeah, he's going to gas as well. So core will be coming up next. So we're likely going to see a 1-base ReV play here. Very, very likely. And then we've got the Nexus coming up here for LML. I think this is actually a 13 Nexus, so he delayed it a little bit to get his next probe out a little bit faster. Core going to be coming in here. There we go. Now you do have the option of going for DT drops, but I don't know. Public owner just said 700 WoW, and I'm very, very confused. 700 what? Have I missed something? Oh, APM spike. Oh, okay. Yeah, LML's probably holding keys down, I would imagine. Michael is in Bulgaria, LML's in Germany. I can imagine the connection isn't too bad to cause a load of lag. Yeah, you can hold down buttons and it will make your APM go up super high. Oh, by the way, for the first time in like 8 months, I actually played Brood War this month, or this weekend. I signed up to the CPL for some reason, despite not playing, and I somehow in my preseason matches went 2-1. So I actually won 2 of my games. One I got incredibly lucky on, and the other one I played okay. And yeah, I'm from the UK. I don't know. You say it's a good decision, Ryan Metal, but I was still super stressed when playing it. Like, as much as I love watching Brood War, which is why I host tournaments, and as much as I love talking about Brood War, I hate playing it. It's too stressful. Like, I just can't deal with it. Now, we've got a Stargate coming in from LML. We've seen him do this before in the map test tournament. If anyone has the most practice on this map, it is LML. Essentially, LML played the map test tournament and played like 50 PvPs on here or something. But what he did was he went for Mass Corsair into Carrier. Now, we've got a Robo support bay coming in for Michael, but you can already see that the Nexus is super delayed compared to LML. So LML's already mined quite a decent amount. Michael, this Michael is different to the one you're thinking of, Jinkola. Jinkola, the Michael you're thinking of is American, and he is also known as the Cheese King. Okay, Forge coming up for LML. Basically, LML is playing this super conservatively. He'll probably go for a cannon in each of his bases so he doesn't die to DT drops. It also helps against Reavers as well. And the other thing we're likely to see throughout this as well is here's the first Corsair. LML will probably go for some quick upgrades, especially on his air. He did that before. Oh my goodness. Michael has actually sent the shuttle out with nothing in. I mean, this is going to work in his favor because he's not going to lose his reverb, but I mean, he was scouting with a shuttle and he just so happened to run into the Corsair. This is kind of like what happened in the ASL game between Mini and someone else. I can't remember who it was, where essentially Mini just like drops his Reaver in the middle of nowhere. But luckily enough, he doesn't lose his Reaver, so it's not the end of the world, although obviously losing the shuttle's a big deal. And he's not going to have any form of air control for a very long time. LML scouting in both directions, kills the shuttle, and now Michael is going to have trouble getting his Reavers off his island. So there's a few options that Michael has. One of them is, of course, to try like ferry some Dragoons over, maybe ferry a probe over and expand on the mainland and try and play it out that way. But just going mass shuttle is not going to work here. And he has to defend a shuttle somehow. We've got an extra gateway coming in. And like his shuttles are not going to be able to get to LML's base now. Asker, this is a neutral hive. So this hive is essentially there to... It doesn't block buildings, but it blocks Protoss and Terran being able to expand early, whereas Zerg can build here without any problems. Now I can hear something attacking something, but I don't know what it is. Ah, okay, it's the... Yeah, so essentially what LML's doing is he's clearing out the hive to get access to this gas base. And it basically allows the creep to recede so you can expand. The other bonus... Oh my god, he lost his shot again. Wait, did he lose the Reavers? No, okay, whew. If he'd lost the Reavers, he'd be in big trouble. But LML is playing this map perfectly for PvP. This is showing the practice that LML actually had on this map. Yeah, the other thing it allows Zerg to do is put Nidus canals when they get hive so they can expand to the other parts of the map easier. Yeah, but look at this. 3 Corsairs already. 4, 5 coming in. Double... Is this double Stargate? No, it's just a single Stargate so far, but he hasn't lost a single Corsair, so there's 6 of them. And did he just kill another shuttle? No, he didn't. Okay. So the shuttle didn't die, but Corsairs are so fast you can kind of dive in, kill the shuttle, and dive back out again. And this is why I think you need to open with a Stargate. Like, going for scouts can be pretty good. Oh my god, he actually gets a shuttle out, and he gets a ReV. Oh my god, the ReV Scarab into the probes! But the cannon bugging out one of the Scarabs. A huge Scarab goes down on the workers, which actually gives Michael a better chance, given the fact he was so far behind in workers. But that was 2 ReVers that went down for essentially free. And look at this, LML getting his 3rd base. He's going to expand on the 4th base as well. Double expanding over on his island. And it feels like LML is playing this map a little bit similar. Or he's playing it a little bit more like how you should play the map. Like, go for air in PvP. Air just makes sense. It's essentially like Sparkle. Like, you don't want to play a ground game on Sparkle in PvP. And that's why we saw a lot of Corsairs versus Corsairs. But Scouts against Corsairs are realistically not a bad choice. They do more damage against the Scout... they do more damage against the Corsairs than the Corsairs do against the Scouts. But you do have to keep them spread. And you need the upgrades. Okay, we've got double Robo here, so he is doubling down, quite literally, on the number of shuttles to try and get a load of Dragoons onto the mainland. Now this can work really well because it gives him a situation wherein he can either drop his opponent's main if he can sneak through, or he can take control of the middle ground and then go for a load of expansions. But LML, when we have a look at his vision, he is keeping an eye on absolutely everything. We've got a 3rd base coming up for LML. This is, sorry, for Michael. This isn't been a lonely base, but it is worth taking. LML never actually took his Nexus here, so he's going to do that now, I think, or at least very, very soon. Now we do have that fleet beacon coming in. This is the Interceptor upgrade. If you've not seen this before, this allows the carriers to go from 4 to 8 Interceptors, which doubles their effectiveness. It is probably one of the best upgrades in the entire game, just because of how much better it actually makes carriers. And when your opponent is going for no air whatsoever, oh my goodness, he's going to have to unload. He has to unload here. And there we go. Okay, so he's been spotted. So now all LML has to do is just try and chase down the shuttles. Like, the second he picks up again, these shuttles are probably going to die. You'll notice the LML moving all of his Corsairs over here. He wants the shuttle kills. He literally doesn't care if the Corsairs die. He can rebuild them. He gets 3 of the shuttles, 4 of the shuttles. Can he get the 4th one? Yes, he can. And the 5th one going down as well. Corsairs are so hardy, losing most of them, but he's gained control of the sky once again. And by gaining control of the sky here, Michael is stuck on his island. Asker, the Interceptor upgrade essentially allows you to have 8 Interceptors instead of 4, which doubles its damage output essentially. So you'll notice Interceptors do 6+1 damage with no upgrades, I think that is, or does he have +1 now? He may have +1. Yeah, so Interceptors do 6 damage +1, and then obviously you've got 4 of them to begin with, and then you go up to 8. So it's really, really much better. Oh, it's really, really better. Oh, wait, it's way, way better. It's really, really better. That doesn't make any sense in English. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we've got 2 Stargates. 3rd Stargate coming in here. Meanwhile, we finally have Michael going into a Stargate. Now, if he knows he's up against carriers, which he couldn't, like, he shouldn't know, because there's no way of telling. If he finds out he's against carriers, then he is going to be in an incredible position. Now, he does fly past the Observer. LML does not have that many units, but he's still got a sizable ground army. And that means these 4 shuttles worth of units are probably not going to do anything here. Actually using minerals from his ReVers to kill the hive, not really worth it, I would say. But look at this, LML is perfectly prepared against drops. Like, how does Michael do damage here? He can't. He needs to expand or he needs to do something else. 4 shuttles, 5 shuttles even, is not going to do anything against this amount of units. Now, if he takes control of the ground here, this is very, very good. Because if he controls the center of the map, the carriers cannot get over to come and kill him. Now, we've got 2 shuttles heading on over. They've actually not got any units in just yet. I think he was scouting around. Look at this. LML on the mainland with a probe is going to take a Nexus down here. Now, with this army here, with these 12 Dragoons, he can stop this. And he has to. He cannot control the skies, so he needs to control the ground. And right now, Michael is unable to do either, because he is going to be up against a lot of Corsairs, a lot of carriers. And if you're up against 1-1 carriers at this point, and you have no anti-air essentially, minus Dragoons, then what are you going to do? Now, it looks like he may be going into Arbiters, which would be a very, very good choice. Arbiter's very, very strong. He really does need to bring these shuttles back, though. Because these shuttles are just going to die again like his other ones did. And he's got no units in them anymore. Yeah, Arbiters are of course really, really far away at this point. So that's maybe not going to work. But a big, big recall could be what it takes to get back in the game. Especially if the carriers get to the other side of the map. Dan Alex, unfortunately, because I'm not a partner, I do not always get the things. But if you check out the YouTube channel, if you check out the YouTube stream here, I know I shouldn't be doing this, I don't think. But if you use that, you should get quality options there. So you can listen there, still use Twitch chat, and it should be a little less laggy for you. And look at this, the Corsairs killed the shuttles again. What a surprise. Here we go, the 2 Reavers going to drop off. This is actually quite a good drop, but he needs to make sure he drops the Reavers. So the Reavers are dropping in. This is a very, very nice place to drop. If we zoom out here, why is he picking them up? Drop the Reavers again. Oh, the Reavers are going to die. There we go. That was a waste. That was unfortunate, but there we go. If he had 3 Reavers here, you cannot break this as LML until the carriers come. It looks like he is going to be able to kill one of the bases, perhaps, but the carriers are coming in here, which is obviously going to be a big amount of damage. Dragoons do not work well against carriers, and this will not be a worthwhile trade. You do not want to be trading Dragoons for a Nexus. That is not going to work, and that is going to put Michael incredibly far behind. He's now 70 supply down, 20 worker supply down as well. Because LML is massing carriers, he's got a ton of minerals. That did very little. So we've got the Arbiter Tribunal coming in. Now, Stasis can be incredibly good against carriers. But it's a mile away. 4 carriers are already coming over towards his base. Now, I mean, this is a sizable number of units again, if these have all got units in, but at 119 supply, I'm not even sure he does. Now, Storm could be good against carriers as well. That could be very, very nice. Thanks for the sub on YouTube, by the way. Here we go. He's going to drop on the high ground and the low ground. Going to try and jump on top of the carriers. This is a good choice. If he kills the carriers before they go up in too many numbers, but he's not shooting them. He's shooting the Nexus. The Nexus literally does not matter. LML has 1,600 minerals, but here we go. The carrier's coming in 6 already outside of his base, and he has very, very few units. There's 4 robotics. Not really going to be helping out much. He gets the natural, and he doesn't kill these carriers. He's going to try and go for the fleet beacon, which he should be able to kill. He should really focus down the cyber core first, though. Looks like a Dragoon's getting a few problems here. He does target fire. Oh my god, he kills all of the Storm. I think this game is done. Does he even have Storm research? No, Storm isn't even done yet. He does get the core, but +2 is going to finish. Is he going to be able to do it? It's so close. Does that finish? I don't think that finished, right? It finished. He got +2. And there we go, look at this, another shuttle going out, and I just think that Michael didn't play this right. Like, he knew what his opponent was doing, and he just kind of kept doing what he was doing when he needed to change it up. Because look how little damage these Dragoons are doing to these carriers. And the two that he could have killed in the main? I mean, this is good, but the Arbiter's just going to die immediately, so it's not a big deal. And the Arbiter review not getting focused as well. GG, Michael taps out, and LML wins game number 1. Okay, we'll be back in just a second with game number 2. See you guys soon. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading into game number 2 here in just a second. The map we're going to be heading into is Desert Dwellers. Desert Dwellers has come back into the pool again after its 1 week break last week where we had Blindside and Paradise. But basically, this is a very, very fun map. Was Blindside the 3rd map last week? It must have been. I didn't realize. Oh well, the 4th map even. But either way, it's been a very, very fun map to watch. We saw a very, very good game out of one of our players here last time, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got planned. Last time he did a really quick rush against Terra, which very nearly worked, so he would have won against one of the best players in the STPL. But unfortunately for him, it didn't. Let's get into the game. It's game number 2. It's Cold versus rOuta, and it is a PvZ. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand corner in the teal, fighting from Bulgaria for pSi. It's Cold. And his opponent spawning up here in the top right-hand corner for red from Finland. It's rOuta. Okay, so we've got a 9 pull coming in from Cold. So Cold playing a little bit more aggressively than we would normally see in a ZvP. Looks like he's going to do a 9 pull speed as well. Now, is rOuta going to be ready for this? He is going Forge Fast Expand instead of the usual Gateway Expand, which a lot of Protoss players do these days. It's a more conventional way of playing PvZ. It's a lot safer. And to be honest, I think I prefer it. Because it's a lot less volatile. Like, it always feels like if you go Forge Fast Expand, you're more likely to survive a little bit later on. Like, Gate Expand can be good if you can get damage done. But if you're not Bisu and you don't have like 500 APM, then your Zealot probably is just going to die and then all of a sudden you're behind. Because you don't have a wall. And that's it. So cannon before Nexus coming in, of course. rOuta did scout this. He's going to sit and try and block this for as long as possible, but it's going to be quite difficult given the fact there's going to be Lings coming out soon. He can opt to try and block it with a pylon, but once again, as I said, I don't think it's really going to work too well. But this does keep the Zerglings back at home. Looks like rOuta does miss a chance to block it, but he does just want to go back into the scout. He wants to see how many more Lings are going to be coming out of his opponent's base. He knows that his opponent is going to be running his Lings towards him. Now, this is so far a pretty good wall. I think that may not be blocked so far. So he's going to bring, he's going to bring another probe here. Looks like the Lings have actually gone back, which as soon as rOuta knows that, he's probably going to send his his probes away. Okay, Cold just running around with his Lings, not really able to do too much so far with them, so this definitely isn't the best use of Speedlings I've seen at the beginning of the game. Did he never... Was he faking a Speedling all in? Because he definitely doesn't have speed, and he wasn't mining gas. This feels like it must have been some kind of fake out, but rOuta didn't take the bait whatsoever. He's not overbuilt cannons, he's not really done anything out of the ordinary. The only thing he's done is pulled a few probes. That's not too bad. Things are definitely looking good for rOuta, and here he'll see that there's no link speed as well. So he is going to feel pretty confident going further into this game. We should have the core coming up eventually in his main. We've already got the Citadel, we've already got the core, and we're going for a Citadel. Now he's actually going to use this as part of a wall. This isn't too bad. It does make it a little bit harder for Lings to get through if he does try and run through. Obviously we know he's not going to be doing that, and so does rOuta at this point. But it's not a bad place to put your buildings. It saves him trying to fill his main base where he could, especially later game, if drops start coming in, because obviously you are quite close by air. This is just a little bit more tucked away and a little bit easier to defend. Now we've got the third hatchery up and finished here by Cold next to the buried bunkers. Now are we going to see a fourth and fifth hatch, or are we going to see So it's not going to be a 3-hatch Hydra all in. There is a Spire coming in, so we should have a fourth and fifth hatch coming in soon. Another probe coming in. rOuta doing a very, very good job with this scouting. Keeping an eye on absolutely everything his opponent's doing now. Cold still doesn't have link speed. It's just now finishing. So rOuta sees the Spire. He's going to pull back. He sees no Hydrodan. And most importantly, has he seen the third base yet? I think he has, yeah. Very, very nice scouting by rOuta so far this game. Definitely not going to get caught off guard by anything. Now here we go. Gately's being added on into the main Stargate, most likely. No, this is an assimilator over here on the top right. Interesting that rOuta isn't going for a Stargate just yet, though. Especially because he's already seen... Ah, there we go. Oh, he's going to Stargate. This could very well be rOuta's signature Corsair Reaver style. Wouldn't surprise me to see that from him whatsoever. Obviously when you scout this early of a Spire as well and no Hydrodan, you can be pretty sure that there's going to be some Muteless coming. We've only just now seen the second gas coming up though. So it feels like Cold is just playing a little bit behind where he needs to be. He does have Muteless coming in, but because his gas count is quite low, he's not able to build a ton in one go, so they are going to be kind of trickling out here. He does have enough to build enough from his hatchery, so he did save up properly, with the fourth hatchery coming in as well. There's going to be two Corsairs building at the same time, but are they going to come out fast enough? +1 attack is going to be nowhere near done. There's no cannon in the main base right now, and these Muteless are already heading towards his base, so this could be A very sneaky timing attack. Now, looks like rOuta wants to buy himself some time. You can already see that Cold is moving his Mutalist away to try and defend against the Zealots. And this, of course, will give these Corsairs chance to pop out. Time for a pylon to go up, a cannon to go up if he needs them. And it just kind of forces Cold away from what he wants to do, and that's attack his opponent. Now, these Zealots running into the natural as well. He does see the Hydra Den, so he knows a possible, trying to think of the right word, a possible change is coming up in the plans. I guess diversion would be better, like a divulgence from his current plan into a different one, but the Mutalisks, they're going to come, oh sorry, these are Scourge heading towards the main. They want to try and get one of the Corsairs. Did that Scourge only took 1 damage. How? Wait, did the other one take the damage? No. How did that happen? Yeah, different follow-up would be a better way of saying it. Okay, so 5th Hatchery is done. Spore Colony's coming up to help defend against the Overlords. This is going to be sort of defend the Overlords against the Corsairs. Going to be very, very important, given his opponent is going to Stargate. It basically means you are not going to be ahead in the air war at any point, as long as the Protoss controls it properly. rOuta isn't going to overbuild Corsairs either. He's built enough that he knows his opponent shouldn't really be going for any more Mutalisks, because if you do, that's kind of a mistake. He's going for a Templar Archives here, so it's not going to be Corsair Reaver, it is going to be Corsair Templar and a Gateway style. But this is still a good number of Zealots right now. There's actually some Hydras back at home defending this. There is some Hydras trying to come down the ramp to get to them, but they're not really going to be able to achieve too much. Now the Spore is in a very, very nice position here. It's nicely tucked away. Looks like the Corsair is going to try and go for some of the easy to kill Overlords. Going to go for these Mutalisks as well, but oh my goodness, this is going to be a feast. Look at this, 2 Overlords dead already. He could get another one. The Zealots coming in to try and help defend the Corsairs. The Corsairs have so much health, the Mutalisks will go down, and all of a sudden, Cold is in a lot of trouble. The Spore being targeted down because he knows if he kills the Spore, there's very little of anything that can shoot up right now. And he is killing so many Overlords here. rOuta is playing this very, very well. He's getting another Corsair. DT's coming in as well. Oh my goodness, the DTs. The DTs go down. Where is there? Oh my god, an Overlord just pops, which gives him vision over the DTs. That was so unfortunate by rOuta. That would have been such a good timing attack. But unfortunately, it doesn't really do too much. It kills a lot of Overlords. He does get a few of the drones with his Zealots. But he doesn't win the game like he could have done. Okay, we've got 2 additional cannons coming up. This is going to be a strong, strong counterattack here. We do have High Templar. They do have Storm Energy. But is Storm Research? No, he actually, I think he may have forgotten it. And this is going to be a big, big problem because you need Storm against this many Hydras. It can go so well for Protoss, and then all of a sudden Zerg presses SH, and the game can kind of rotate on itself. And things can look very, very different very, very quickly. So hopefully for rOuta, he's not going to lose the game right here. His first gateway is going to go down. The Corsairs are going to come back in. They are going to do some more damage to the Overlords, but Cold has actually overbuilt Overlords now. Oh my goodness, he gets one of the Corsairs. That's actually pretty big. Okay, the Forge goes down. That means +1 armor is... Oh, that was +2 armor. He was going 1-2. That's interesting. A lot of Protoss players have been doing that recently. Maybe the armor upgrade actually helps against Hydra attacks, because they do attack pretty quickly, but they don't do much damage per hit. Like, they do 11 damage, so if you take 2 of that away, it's only 9 damage. Maybe that's a bonus. I mean, it doesn't really matter too much now anyway, because his Forge died. I don't think he had a secondary Forge anywhere, so he wasn't double... He wasn't doing anything there, but it's all well and good. So we do have, obviously, everything looking normal. We do have this a second forge come in, but there's no upgrades going on it just yet. Now Cold back at home is going into his queen's nest. He is going to be getting ready to go in for a hive. Interestingly, no fourth base has been constructed just yet. Obviously Zerg don't need to expand super quickly in ZvP, especially not until the Protoss expands, but it'll still be okay. Nine gateways so far. Have I counted that right? Well, there's 8 gateways there. Oh, the gateway there died, so it is 8 gateways. rOuta is coming around from the top hand side of the map. He's going to be heading in towards this hatchery at the mineral only. By doing this, he secures his own mineral only, which isn't as good as a gas base for Protoss in PvZ, but you take what you can get. Another Overlord is going to go down. rOuta definitely doing a pretty good job with his Corsairs so far. Now there are lurkers out on the field now, which are going to make this very, very difficult to do. We've obviously got a lot of observers coming in to try and counteract that. Okay, so there are 3 hatcheries down here. Looks like the Hydra is going to be moving in. rOuta is... oh, he's moved out into the middle of the map. He still doesn't have +2, but he is going for +2 armor first. It will be kind of cool to see how that actually plays out. Looks like he's trying to jostle for position on the map. There is still possibly a very long game ahead of us here. Yeah, Braino, I realized I said the top hand side and how wrong that was, but the top side of the map is what I meant to say. My English is very broken today for some reason. Okay, it looks like rOuta wants to push up the map, or wants to push up the ramps, but he's not having much luck. Lurkers at the top will make this very difficult to break. And this is why rOuta is going to expand. He's going to take his 4th base. He could possibly expand to a 5th as well. Now there are some Hydras coming around the bottom side of the map here. That'll allow them to kind of cancel out one of these bases. But there isn't... he should really have this Dragoon on the high ground. Having on the low ground doesn't really help him at all. Looks like he is trying to push up again. Now the good thing is, these lurkers are not outside of his base. They are actually on the opponent's side of the map defending. When you get lurkers outside of your base as Protoss, things can be very, very difficult. Because lurker contains can be almost impossible to break. Now, looks like this looks like this Nexus is going to go down unless he can send units back. Is he not going to cancel this? Surely he's going to cancel this. He doesn't necessarily need the minerals, but it's better to cancel. Oh my god, I think he lost it. That's a little bit unfortunate. Here we go. Looks like he's going to try and come in from the other side. This is a better angle of attack, but he's not going to use his Storm. He needs to use the Storm energy if he wants to break here. There we go. Storm's being blanketed down on top of the Lurkers and the Hydra for 3 High Templar going down immediately. And rOuta's attack in here is not going very, very well here whatsoever. The Lurker's still alive. Storm's still not being used. Focus the Lurker. The Lurker is the thing doing the damage, but I think his Observer's out of range. It is. His Observer being out of range means he's not killing the Lurker, and it's killing all of his units. The Hydra's cleaning everything up as well. And rOuta, for the first time in this game, is looking like he's in a very weak position here. Like, there can't be anything else that rOuta would have been looking at there, because there was absolutely no reason for him to look anywhere else. That was the most important part of the map there. Cold only had to focus on that one area. Now, a lot of Lings coming out this bottom left-hand hatchery. There was an attack down here that I did miss on the mini-map. That's probably where rOuta's attention was. But I think looking after your main army is a little bit more important than doing like a guerrilla attack on a hatchery. Cold isn't going to be crying over spilt milk. He's not going to cry over a hatchery going down. Whereas rOuta needs them. rOuta needs his army. And look at this. He moves his army out of this position again, and Lings come in and clean everything up again. Now rOuta is going to find himself even in supply with the with the Zerg player. That is never where you want to be.
WHERES my butt plug.
Thanks for the sub, Josh. But there we go, he is going to be able to clean this up down here. It almost feels wasteful sending so many units down there when he lost his base, but I suppose it's not the end of the world. Once again, he's defending the low ground of the ramp rather than going to the high ground. I don't know why Wares became WHERES, but there we go. Looks like the Dragoon's going to be cleared up down here again. rOuta does manage to hold on to supply lead just barely. He does manage to save this Nexus, although it's only just restarted again, so not going to be too impactful in this game. The name of the caster is Kix, that's me. I am your caster for the STPL. I think I used to have a command that said that, but then I removed it for some reason. Oh my god, there's 5 observers down here. He doesn't have observer speed either, so he can't get them back home very quickly. Now there's a lot of overlords just kind of sat in the middle of the map. If he can storm these, that would be a lot of damage. But the Lings and the Hydras down here have managed to clean everything up. It's got 2-1. He is 2-1 against 1-2. Now, does he have... He's going for +3 armor first. I mean, I guess Storm is your main source of damage output, but if you can't get the Storms, then surely at least +2 attack would be good for your Zealots, right? I mean, I guess the thing is, it's going to take forever for your Zealots to actually die. But look at this, Hydra's bursting in from the bottom. Cold is just killing it this game. rOuta is in so much trouble. And I just don't see this working. I think rOuta might be in too much trouble. Cold is growing bigger and bigger as the game goes on. rOuta's tried his best here, but unfortunately Cold has just been a little bit too on top of things. The Defiler coming in as well, going to make this even harder. He has a single Storm, which he's going to have to try and use on those Lings. But then the Lings are going to come down here, actually storming his High Templar to try and save himself here. But I think rOuta might be in a little bit too much trouble. We've got more Lings coming in, 1-2 on the Lings as well. And there's no 4th base. rOuta is mined out of his natural. He's mined out of his main, and GG, well played. We'll be back in a couple of minutes with game number 3. See you guys soon.
Okay. Rocket launcher. Heavy machine gun. Machine gun.
Okay guys, we're going to be going into our third game of the series. We're going to have a Terran here. It's going to be the debut of 1A2A3A pSi. He's going to be up against Horritos. We've had a lot of TvP. Well, we've had 5 TvPs on this in the history of the STPL. This is a map that was played in Season 1, which is why you have dates from 2018 there. It was a while ago, but the games we've had on this map so far have been pretty good. I'm looking forward to really getting into it. It's a really, really fun TvT map. Not that we get many TvTs in the STPL. I'm hoping we get a really good TvT on this map. One of the best games ever played was Flash versus Firebat here on this map. It lasted about an hour, and it was incredible. It came down to the last mining base. Literally every single mineral and every single gas was mined out, -1. And they were both like floating like command centers back and forth trying to take it. It was so, so good. But either way, let's get ready to get into the game. Quickly adding the colors to the overlay and then we can get in. Yeah, that game played during the break was Metal Slug. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It's a really, really good game in general, and if you've not played it before, you definitely should. It's readily available on so many different platforms now. It is Metal Slug X. I would recommend Metal Slug X over Metal Slug 1. Metal Slug X was kind of a remake of it, which is really good. And Metal Slug 2 is really laggy, so X2 is better. But let's get into game number 3. Okay, starting us over here in the bottom left-hand corner in the green, fighting for Psi, it's 1A2A3A from Bulgaria. And as usual, we finally have a Terran, and I still don't get my Terran music. What is up with this game? Oh my goodness, the Protoss music sucks. It's still good, but it's too chill, man. We need the, like, beats, the rock beats of the Terran theme. That's what we need. Okay, starting us off down here in the bottom right-hand corner in the orange, fighting for red from Germany, it's MasterReY. 1A2A3 is also known as Toka. I wonder if he's in my database already. In which case, that's going to be really annoying. I don't think he's played yet, though, so I suppose it doesn't really matter. Yeah, he is. He's in my database already. I don't think he's played yet, so it really, really, really doesn't matter. But we'll call him 1A2A3A, even though it's harder to say. You know the best thing I've realized recently? If I just want people to talk in my chat, if I want to get my Twitch numbers up, right? Because you get like... I don't think you get bonuses for more people chatting, but it looks better for your stream if more people are engaging. All I need to do is just never unfree the doodle, and then people just keep moaning about it all the time. It's brilliant. It's free real estate. It's free real estate. It's great. Now, this is the first game I think I've seen of Toka. I may have seen him before, but I'm not 100% sure. Because it's been a while. I've seen a lot of games in the STPL. If you're not sure how many games have been played in the STPL, let me tell you. I'm just loading up my SQL database so I can tell you exactly the number of games played so far. That's a lot of them. Overall in the STPL database, which means only games related to STPL and STPL tournaments, there have been 1,551 games across 377 matches. Which is a lot of STPL. Okay, so we do have a factory coming in. Nice SimCity so far by 1A2A3A. He's even got the little area here. You can actually wall in this map. It can be a little bit dodgy, but you can wall in and it be zealot type. I guess he doesn't want to do that. LML gonna scout quite late, actually. This is a very late scout by LML. Sorry, not LML, MasterReY. That he's not really going to get in and actually see anything, because by the time he'll get to his opponent's base, the 2 Marines are already at the map. The ramp even. Now 1A2A3 being a little bit cheeky here, going to hide his SCV if he can. from MasterReY. This is essentially going to give him a free scout a little bit later on. It allows you to go for that 4-minute 20 scout to check for any tech in the main and to check for a Nexus a little bit easier. Now, we do know that there is a Nexus coming up here on 23. This is quite an early Nexus. And the probe, is the probe actually going to get in? Oh, he doesn't quite stop it. That's unfortunate. So the probe is going to get in as well. He cannot fake an expansion. I mean, he's already building the expansion anyway, but... Now that probe should be dead. It should be crushed. How did that probe survive? Going back to the Brood War music quickly, like, the problem with the Protoss music, it's really well designed and it's really nice to listen to, but there's no impact, right? You think of the Terran theme and it's like do 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 do. There's like impact there, right? This is just like super chill, like dee 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 dee. It's kind of like it's kind of like Blood Elf music in not Blood Elf. Yeah, they are Blood Elves. It's been so long since I played Warcraft, I forgot. It's like the Elven music, like even Night Elf music in WoW as well. It's just like super chill. Like if you want to chill out, listen to the Protoss music. Now this barrack's going to be used to tank a little bit of damage. Now the SCV did come back in, scouts the fact there's a robo, doesn't see a support bay just yet. And he won't be able to confirm if there's going to be a support. Well, there's an observatory now. Yeah, thinking about it, this music is very similar to the Elven music in Warcraft. I guess it makes sense, right? Now, 1A2A3 does have his expansion up now. He's going into his second factory, so no starport. Looks like he was thinking about building something down here, but cancelled it. Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, Protoss are essentially the Space Elves. Like, even their story is kind of like the Templar in, obviously, 40k. And they're kind of like elves as well, in a weird way. Like, Protoss are all super old, they live forever. I don't know, maybe they're not elven, but they are kind of similar to elves. I think Zerg music is the worst. Like, Zerg music... I don't know, Zerg music, like, it doesn't even sound like you're listening to, it doesn't sound like you're listening to music. Now, this is a good move to wall off the back of the mineral line in case it gets Reaver dropped, but the trouble is the SCV might get stuck there. And that's a pain. And yeah, SCP saying there's only so many tropes in sci-fi, that is 100% true. We've got a third base coming in here for MasterReY. He's possibly going to go for a pylon wall here as well, which will help him out. Thing is, Zerg as itself, like the Zerg units and the Zerg buildings are really cool, but the Zerg music is just... Like, in the last game, in that ZvP, I couldn't even hear the music. It's so quiet. Like, I don't get why. It's got even less impact than the Protoss music. Now, interestingly, 1A2A3 is preparing against a possible drop. He didn't see any robo support bay or anything, but he's got no way of confirming whether or not this is happening. His first scans are going to be coming up in just a second. He will, however, be able to he'll be able to check, and also he can focus fire down some observers if he wants to. Interestingly, not choosing to scan right away. Little bit of a weird choice. You definitely want to do that, just so you can see what your opponent's doing. Because at the moment, he's kind of playing a little bit safe. A little bit too safe. Now there we go, we do have a scan going down on some of the tech. He sees some gateways being added on. He is going to be feeling pretty fine about that. He sees no Citadel, no Templar Archives, and no robust support base. So this is when he should start powering up. Maybe think about taking a third base. Now, there is a Forge and a Citadel coming up, so it's going to be likely 4+1 attack. And then he'll go for Templar Archives most likely straight away. And we'll probably see Arbiter Play coming out here for MasterReY. This is a pretty good map for carriers, but there is a lot of wide open space, which makes it good for Goliaths as well. So yeah, this is definitely a high APM game here where both players are just kind of powering up. Neither player really wanting to sort of push too far in because they know they're not really going to be able to do too much damage. This is going to be the first move out we have from our Terran here. Now, of course, they are tied up 1-to-1 in the series. He's actually put that where his command center should be, which is a little bit unfortunate, but he'll be able to get on the high ground. This is a very good map to lay mines everywhere. Because a lot of ramps the Protoss will have to push up. Looks like he's trying to go in and do some damage, but it's going to be difficult. There's a lot of Protoss units. MasterReY definitely in a very good position to defend, but 1A2A3A is doing a very good job with his Vultures here to try and do whatever damage he can, and that is super important to do as a Terran player, using your Vultures to just lay all of their mines. If you lose a Vulture without placing all the mines down, you're essentially wasting free damage. Well, it's not necessarily damage, but it's free attention. Like, Protoss has to use a lot more attention to clear the mines than you do to place them. But a lot of Protoss players don't pay any attention to mines, lose all their units, and then complain that mines are broken. And that's because they don't want to think about the mines. They don't want to send observers. They don't want to clear the mines. They just want to move their units through the middle of the map. And then when they run onto mines, it's not because they just ran mindlessly into the middle of the map, it's because they run into mines. But there we go, so he does push forward, gets one of the tanks here, and he's going to get into a position to come in and block the third base. Y2Kid saying confirm Terran easy. Thing is, mines are powerful, but you have observers. There's no reason for you to be running around the map without observers. Observer speed is not actually that good because it makes your observers move faster than your units, so you can run into the mines easier. Observer sight range is actually pretty good against minefields. So how much damage does a mine do? 125 damage, right? That's a sizable amount of damage. But look at this. One invisible boy, and all of a sudden those poor mines can't do anything. I mean, okay, ending life. Ob speed is good, but ob speed makes your observer move faster than your dragoons. So when you're moving through the middle of the map, your observer will go ahead of the dragoons, and sometimes the dragoons will not see the mines behind the observer. But obviously it does allow you to move away from Goliaths a little bit easier. But the third base is up. Still no third gas over here for MasterReY. Looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 gateways, which is a pretty sizable amount. He's got double Forge going for upgrades, so we've got another long game on our hands here. MasterReY definitely doing a pretty good job. What is the upgrades like for the Terran? We've got 1-1. We've got a lot of... This is really nice to see, by the way. We've got +2 coming in. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 factories. So there's actually more factories than the Protoss has gateways, which is going to be a bonus for the Terran. If mines cost 1 Yeah, if mines cost 1 supply, Aeternum would be unplayable. Just saying. It'd also make TBT really boring. Yeah, both players have got really good building placement. Let's zoom out and turn off everything, just to have a look at how good their buildings look. So this looks really nice as a Protoss base, and then this looks really nice as a Terran base. Now, just before we get an engagement, let's actually zoom back in. Looks like MasterReY wants to clear up some mines. Vulture's pulling them into tanks. I always zoom fully back in, and then I realize I just don't like obsing Brood War like that anymore. Being ever so slightly zoomed out feels so much better to me. Okay, so we've got the first Arbiter out on the field. This is going to help him push forward a little bit, but the important thing to remember is he doesn't need to push necessarily. Now, we've got a lot of scans coming in. He scans where his opponent's army is. Here comes the Arbiter. He's got some tanks on top of some mines, which is not what you want to be dealing with. First EMP going down on this Arbiter, which means he's not going to be able to do anything. But the mine drags are going to be so important here. Oh my goodness, that was a big mine drag. Zealot's getting on top of the tanks, and all of 1A2A3A's army is going down. And this is why mines are a problem. If you do not play perfectly, you will get your army killed by Zealots. And that's exactly what happened there. Now, MasterReY is in an incredible position now. He's up 30 supply, and 1A2A3A's tank count has been reset. And that was such a good surround there by MasterReY. And yeah, the third base was never actually finished. So his third is only just now coming up. There are a lot of mines which should buy him a little bit of time, but he can only build maximum of 3 tanks at a time, and right now he doesn't have much gas. So he needs to counter one of these tanks and build another one. He's going into another factory. He doesn't have the economy for this right now. He needs more money, he needs more units. Otherwise he is going to be eaten alive here by the Protoss. Now, MasterReY doesn't have a 4th base yet, so he is going to go to look to do this now. Which means 1A2A3A is in a better position than he maybe would have been. Looks like he does need to use his mines up here, though. Definitely want to lay all your mines. That is the... Okay, what I always say, there's 2 things that make a hallmark of a good Terran player. One of them is repairing your units, and the other one is making sure to make use of every single mine you have before your before your Vultures die. When you look back to like 2010, 2009, and watch Flash and Fancy play, who were at the time the S-rank Terrans, like if there was a good Terran, there was those 2, right? You obviously had A-tier Terrans, and Light was probably S-tier as well. But like the 2 that were winning tournaments and were doing incredibly well were Flash and Fancy. And the one hallmark thing about their play that you will see that many other Terran players at the time wasn't doing, they would make the most out of every single... Look at this! Why is he running into mines like this? He takes a huge amount of damage. He knows there's going to be mines over here. Where are his observers? But yeah, repairing and using all of your mines. Get every single bit of value out of your units as possible. He's running in some more mines because that's what Protoss players do. Just like how Tiggers bounce, Protoss players run into mines without observers. We finally have the observer up here, which is going to mean he can clear the minefield. And oh, more mines, because, you know, you've only just cleared a load of mines with units. So let's just run through some without the observer this time. Yeah, he's not going to be perfect, but... I mean, like, when you run into mines with your entire army, you can't complain that mines are broken. And look, he's going to fly his observer into the turret here, which is going to cause a problem. A nice stasis here at the bottom of the map. Going to allow him to move in and possibly take out this 3rd base. This is the heartland of the Terran's economy now, as the main and the natural are both mined out, but more mines running into the army here, which means this is going to be a little bit easier for 1A, 2A, 3A to hold on. The 4th base is only up just now for our Protoss player. So if the Terran can hold on to his base here, he's going to be in the game still. And that is definitely not something that MasterReY wants. Now, this is a risky mine. Oh no, the mine drag going into the tanks going to be doing a ton of damage. The tanks are so important. And it looks like the 3rd base is going to go down, but MasterReY has lost a lot of his army here. The 3rd base is going to survive. 2 tanks come out of stasis. But the big problem is there's not many units here for 1A, 2A, 3A anymore. He's got 129 supply. MasterReY already has 173 supply again off of the huge number of gateways he has. Further upgrades coming in, going for, I believe this is 3-2. It's 3-3. He's going for 3-3 upgrades in PvT. That is very weird. Now we've got vultures trying to come in, but look at the pylon walls making that impossible. Essentially, 1A, 2A, 3A has to play the deny game here. And he's used all of his mines. I'm very impressed by that. But yeah, 1A, 2A, 3A needs to find some form of stability here because MasterReY's units, MasterReY's army is so big. 1A, 2A, 3A should really wall this in. You can wall this in, I think, with the barracks and 2 depots. And then only leave like 1 or 2 tanks back here. Then he needs all of his army together. This 4th base is so unbelievably important. And he just barely has any units. Like over a third of his supply is SCVs. And what he's doing, I appreciate the fact he's doing it, or he's trying to find damage with his vultures. But the more units he throws away, like killing probes at this point isn't that impactful. You need to kill the army. And to do that, you need an army yourself. And that is something that currently he is struggling to get hold of. Here we go. This could be the final push off the game. Mines are good, but are they good enough to kill all of these zealots? I don't think they are. And I think this is going to be the GG moment in this game. The Terran cannot hold on. He barely has any units remaining. An ICMP coming in. But does it even matter? The SCVs are all going to be going down here. The supply is going to be plummeting here for our Terran. Some more tanks, but only 2 of them coming up from here. He's going to come up here. He loses his gas from it burning down as well. And as much as 1A, 2A, 3A has fought hard here, he's done a good job with his vultures. But unfortunately for him, he just never got a good engagement with his army. He's going to try and go for one last desperation push here. But look at the size of the army he's against. It would actually be better to just camp on his 3 bases. He's going to siege up, but this is so much Protoss. Storm coming in as well. No vultures, no hope, no game. GG is called. 1A, 2A, 3A taps out, and Red take game number 3. Okay, let's head into game number 4 when we get back after this short break.
Okay.
Okay guys, welcome back. We are here for game number 4. Red are currently up on match point. We're going to be heading in to Paradise, but will this be a Paradise for pSi? Will they take us to an ace match? Let's find out as we get into game 4. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand corner, fighting for red up on match point. It's the German player. It's fischei. And spawning down here in the off yellow, the green, it is mitak fighting for pSi from Bulgaria. So it's kind of crazy to think we're an hour and a half into the stream, given the fact that all the games so far have been pretty long. Red vs pSi seems to go on for a while. Just a little bit of background into this pairing, because I know I didn't go into this before. pSi Storm have met Red 4 times in the history of the STPL. They've not managed to win once so far overall. pSi definitely, given the fact their team is so limited by the fact they are essentially the Bulgarian national team, they've done pretty well, all considering. They've been up against some really strong teams. Obviously, Red have a lot of good players from all over Europe. You've got IRK, who have good players from all over the globe. You have Seoul, who obviously have good Koreans and other good players from all over the globe, like Siki, Dandy, Gorinich, Bonith. You know, there's so many good teams in the STPL. And mitak, I saw mitak's name because I'm looking at his photo because it just makes me laugh. It makes me laugh in a good way. But mitak basically, pSi, I mean, I keep saying mitak's name instead of pSi. pSi have always struggled a little bit. This season they're struggling a little bit as well, but they've been up against some of the best teams already. In the last 4 weeks, I'm trying to remember exactly who they played against, but I know they've definitely played against Seoul. I think they played against Naz. It's just kind of, I feel kind of bad for pSi, but the thing is, moving forward, they'll have a better chance. And against Seoul, they very nearly took us to, wait, am I misremembering this? I need to double check this because I think they did pretty well. I'm checking their previous games. So against Seoul, they went 4-0, but some of the games were quite close. They were quite good. They went then up against Wiko, who are arguably, at least on paper. Oh my goodness, fischei is going for a cannon rush. Oh, this is so dirty. Oh, this is so dirty. And I mean, he can get his drones behind there. He just has to right click on the minerals. No, you're not gonna just right click on the minerals to go through the egg. Oh no. Oh, this is such a dirty play from the Protoss. You cannot get in there as a Zerg. This could be a very, very tough decision to make here, but yeah, he's going to cancel the hatchery. All of a sudden, there's going to be 2 cannons. He's going to cancel one. He's going to keep one there. And I think he's going to go for a big counter. I think that's all he can do, but there's already cannons back at home. mitak definitely knows she can go through the egg, but I think he was maybe having trouble with the angle. Because I think when you're coming in from this angle, if you don't click in the right place, you'll just go the proper way. So you'll go like this way, rather than through. And to be honest, I don't think you would have been able to get enough drones through to cancel the cannons. But we've got the 3rd hatchery coming up at the mineral only. Not the best position to be in, but it's not the end of the world either. Thank you, Grast, for the host, man. Grast, if you don't know him, is actually the clan leader of pSi. He has played in the STPL before. He didn't play this week, but yeah, in case you don't know this about the STPL as well, guys, if it is like your first time tuning in, the STPL games are played on Sunday, and oh my god, the Lings are actually going to get through. Okay, not many will make it into the main. kind of like baby turtles trying to get to the sea when there's like birds coming at them. Now 3 lings in the main can be very annoying to deal with. Nice micro on the probe so far, killing one of the lings. I think there's only been 1 probe killed so far. Yeah, 1 probe. He is going to be able to get this pylon, which is kind of annoying for fischei because it means he can't build his tech in his main. It also means if mitak can somehow go into some kind of muta play, then there's going to be no cannons in the main either. But it is going to be a Hydralisk already. Looks like the pylon has been saved, but he can just keep going back and forth. There's a lot of lost mining time for fischei. Looks like he gets another 2 probes. Killing this is going to be so annoying. Looks like he wants to keep his... Oh, there we go. He gets it. Now the cannon in the main is not going to be powered. And that's a little bit of swift justice, but here we go. We've got a Zealot over here already. He does kill 1 drone. He's chasing the other ones. And there's no lings back at home, so this is a little bit awkward. Okay, so the Zealot does go down, but not before he kills another 2 drones. So drone-wise, mitak is in a lot of trouble. The second Zealot getting another drone in the main. That is very, very bad for mitak. Mitak is a player who's very well known for building a lot of drones very quickly, though, so he can replenish his drones. But I get the feeling he's building up to do a big attack here. Now, fischei already has 3 cannons. The big push shouldn't do too much, but the probe is going to get caught here. Does see a Hydra there, which is super important to scout. Now Stargate coming up in the main as well. This is going to allow him to scout even more, even though the Zealot kind of just saw everything it needed to. This is going to be an all-in from mitak. He is going, or every little bit of money he has, he's going to be putting into Hydras, and he is going to go for a bust. Now you can already see that fischei is getting ready for this. He's adding on 2 cannons and a pylon. Now the good thing is mitak's going to be able to get the gateway and the Zealots. Now it's lucky enough that he is building this second pylon, because there's actually only 1 pylon here at the moment. The pylon finishes, so I was going to say if he can kill the pylon quick enough he can get in and kill the cannons, but... Now this cannon at the front is kind of annoying. More Hydras coming out of the base. Do we have Hydra speed and range? We've got Hydra range now. Hydra speed is done as well. This is what the moment he's been waiting for. He is going to be building up a big Hydra force, and he is going to jump the cannons. He's got a lot of Zerglings to eat the damage as well. Looks like he's going to lose one of his Hydras here trying to kill the Forge. But the Forge is going to go down before +1 is finished, even with this amount of damage coming in. Corsair is going to be able to kill a couple of Overlords if it wants to. Cannon, of course, is still behind the minerals. mitak has definitely been thrown off a lot this game, I think, but he's still doing pretty well given the situation. He's supply blocked, so he can't get any more Hydras, but here we go. Here is the big moment. He's going to push forward. Some of his Hydras aren't attacking. The Lings go down immediately. One of the forward cannons goes down. The second forward cannon goes down. Can he get the third? Yes, he can. Can he pick off some of these probes? That would be a very, very good move. Another cannon going down. Nicely done by mitak so far. Looks like he's going to take the top or the bottom angle here to try and come in. He wants to stop these cannons from coming in. Oh my god, this is so good. Overlord's being used to soak the damage, but target firing by fischei going to allow his cannons to attack the Hydra still. Probes coming out here, going to clear out a lot of the Hydras actually. And fischei is holding on to this very, very well. Very nice matchup indeed here. Now the front pylon does go down. The Zealots coming out, going to be doing a lot of damage. Obviously there is a Forge back in the main base, but there's no +1 just yet. Templar Archives is done, but I don't think he's actually added on any High Templar yet. No, he's going to be doing that now. Now, the trouble is, the Corsair is still here, just being very annoying to the Overlords, meaning he can't really build Overlords in his main right now, which is definitely where you want to be building them. You want your Hydra at the front, but the Hydra's going to push forward, target down some of these cannons again. Can he get all the cannons this time? No, he cannot. He pulls the probes off the line, though, but it's 16 probes. Sorry, 16 drones against 42 probes. And as long as fischei keeps building cannons here, he should be fine. mitak is struggling a little bit to get enough money to really flood with Hydras. And that is when the problem starts to come in. The cannons at the front should be able to fish up here. He really should attack at this angle. Come in here, attack the cannons before they warp, and you're only taking damage from one. But here we go, he's coming back in again. He's not target firing the cannons just yet. He's target firing the zealots, which means 2 cannons are going to finish that shouldn't have done. And this surely has got to be the end of the game. He's held on again and again and again. And mitak is just not building any ground. It's so difficult for fischei to lose this game at this point. High Templar is done. He's got Storm energy. He hasn't researched Storm yet. But imagine if he had Storm at this point. How would mitak ever win this game? He's down to, no, he's up to 19 drones. He is going into lair, so he is trying to transition. And I'm just not seeing it happen. The Hydras are going to pull back home. He's going to probably try and clear this cannon and then expand again. But he's so far behind where he wants to be. fischei is in such a good spot. He's got the ability to go for a third base back here as well. With the back door open, even with the back door shut, you can still get there. The probe is behind the minerals as well. It's actually really good for Protoss that this is here, because it means you can really easily... Oh my god, is he pulling his drones as well? He is. He's going to try and go all in. I almost feel like if you're going to go all in like this, you should just bring everything. Now you can... Oh my god, he's going to mine out the back door. But fischei sees it. Oh my god, this is so clever. He's going to mine out the minerals here. He could actually build a proxy hatchery here, I think, which may be worthwhile. And maybe sunken push, but... He is going to try and take this down. You do need to make sure you mine only this mineral. And then only that mineral. And then you can get in. Yeah, I feel like a proxy hatcher would be good here. Now, fischei is probably just going to build a cannon here, and then all of a sudden this won't work. Which is kind of depressing. He should actually use the Hydras to kill this, but the first mineral is gone. Oh, he can get through! That's actually not tight when there's only one mineral. I didn't realize this. The Hydra's going to get behind the natural, but there is High Templars here. But this is very, very nicely done by mitak. It's a shame he didn't do this a little bit earlier. There's going to be Storm on the ramp, which is going to be very hard for him to deal with. Oh my goodness, that Storm was good. fischei with a very nicely placed Storm. Looks like Corsair going for the Overlords again. Yeah, and he could have taken his third base here. That would actually have been kind of good if it got Sunkens here as well. Obviously, it's a little bit harder to do that. But would have been cool. Nice try by mitak though, definitely playing to the map, which I'm really excited for. Seeing people use strategy that plays to the map is one of the reasons why I like hosting tournaments. And one of the reasons why I like Pro League so much. Because Pro League was all about like funky maps and getting people to come in. And yeah, it's 50 minerals on this patch. Oh, nice Storm. He does get the High Templar though. Oh my god, this could be pretty good. He's going to get a load of High Templar here for free. No, he's not. Storm is too good. Storm is too good. And I think this could be the death throes of our Protoss player here. A lot of Zealots coming in. There is still Storm available. And there's very few Hydras left back at home. There's very few things to defend. And please Storm these the drones. 5 kills. 5 kills, oh my god, he just needs one more on this big clump. There we go, GG. mitak taps out, and fischei takes the game and takes the series for red 3-1. Okay, so unfortunately for mitak, and unfortunately for pSi, they are going to lose their 4th series in a row. Some of the games here were very close, very well played by Red indeed. LML taking out Michael in game number 1. That was a weird game. I think Michael just didn't play his opponent there. He kind of played how I think he practiced the map, but then his opponent did something he wasn't expecting and he didn't really change up his game plan. That's what it feels like. I don't know, but that's what it looked like as well. We've got Cold taking on rOuta to give pSi their first win of today. MasterReY taking out 1A2A3 with some very good engagements in PvT. And then fischei taking out mitak. That was definitely the weirdest game. mitak fought his hardest, but he was a little bit thrown off by the cannons at the beginning of the game. And that is going to bring an end to our first series. We're going to be back after the break with series number 2. It's going to be Ash versus ReV. I was thinking about delaying it until Wednesday because I am really tired, but we may as well get it done because otherwise I'm just going to be tired on Wednesday anyway. So let's get into it. When we get back after this break, I'll be about 5 minutes. The matches are not live, they are casted from replays, but they're casted on the week of them being played and no one else has seen them. So it's essentially live, but we'll be back in a few minutes.
Welcome to Victory Lane. You made it. Congratulations, you place first.
Okay guys, welcome back to the STPL. My name is Kix. You are joining me from within like the virtual STPL studio that I put together, which I think is kind of cool, but I know the jury's out on whether or not people actually like it. But either way, we're here. We are here for Ash versus Rev, or Rev versus Ash, depending on which way you want the teams to be around. We had a good first series with with pSi and Red. That was a pretty good one. No Dodals were freed. So we have won, but a lot of people are saying it in chat still. So if you want to support me, then please feel free to type hashtag no free dodals, and then we can start like this weird war going. But either way, this is going to be our second series of today. We've got some really good players coming up. It should be a lot of fun. Let's actually head on over to the overlay. Just to show you what the lineups are going to be. Now, of course, this is Ash versus Rev, or Rev versus Ash, as I did mention before. So there's a lot of familiar names here. There may be a couple that you may not know very much about, but we are going to learn about them together. We've got players such as we've got Hirmu versus HitEmUp on a ZvP on Rosen Bridge. We're going to have a PvZ between Scarfs and Squall. We're going to have a PvT between Aeternum and Radley, and then we're going to have a ZvP between VIR and Dreamer. So there we go. It's kind of cool. We've got some good matchups coming. Obviously, Radley is always one to give us good games, and it's going to remove Glaive, so that should be good. I mean, I'm surprised we once again have a Zerg player going out on Rosen Bridge. Given how everyone is telling me how bad this map is for Zerg, a lot of Zerg players are still playing on it. If it's that bad, they wouldn't send out Zerg players. Just saying. We're going to skip the player introductions again, just because today's stream is going on for quite a while, and we need to go to sleep at some point. But Rosen Bridge, pretty fun map. This is our first TVZ we've had here. I'm really surprised we're getting Aeternum versus Zerg here, but let's get into it. It's game number 1. It's Rev versus Ash, and it's Hirmu versus HitEmUp. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand position, we do have the red Terran player fighting for Ash. It's HitEmUp. And his opponent spawning off down here in the bottom left-hand corner. In the teal, fighting for ReV, it's Hirmu. Rhett was meant to play last week for Ash again, but then something happened and they had to sub him. When Ash played against Naz, it was meant to be Terra versus Rhett. But then because Terra could only play, I think it was on Friday, he couldn't play Sunday. And then something happened to Rhett on Friday and they couldn't get the subs working properly. So essentially, it was just one of those things that kind of just didn't work out. But Ash still won the series. Hedgek actually subbed in for Rhett and Kingdom subbed in for Terra, and Hedgek did eventually win that game, so Ash definitely feeling pretty good about that win. Now, Hirmu is going to be playing with the knowledge that he is on an island. HitEmUp is going to go and scout. I don't necessarily think scouting is actually worth it on this map. I've said this before, and people have said this to me as well. Sorry, I just need to switch back to my Twitch thing, my Twitch chat. Essentially, when you're on the mainland, if you're playing like you're playing against an opponent on the mainland, you're losing. And that is why you are never going to get rushed on this map if you spawn on the mainland. Even if you're both on the mainland. Because guess what? If your opponent goes 4 pool or 9 pool and you're on an island, you automatically lose. No one is going to rush on this map at all. Every single spawn, even if you're on the mainland, needs to play it out as if you're on an island. Because if you're attacking your opponent or you're planning on doing something cheeky to attack your opponent and they spawn on the island, you've 100% lost the game. Now Radley is coming in saying it's the perfect map for Zerg, whereas everyone I've spoken to seems to think this is the worst map in the game for Zerg. Because it's a semi-island map. The gases are quite easy to get though, which does surprise me, but I think it's because of the way Zerg has to play an island map. It's so different to how it plays on a ground map that I can kind of get where they're coming from. Now, it's going to be interesting to see just how this is going to work out, because obviously when the Terran player's on the island, Zerg have muteless to stop the drops and everything, whereas when the Terran player's on the mainland, I wonder how easy it is for Zerg to actually drop. And Terrans did perform the worst on Sparkle, but the thing is, when you look at spawn bang overall, Terran did better than Zerg on Sparkle. It's just in the ASL they performed worse. Now, for me personally, I think tournament results are more important. But then when you're looking at just tournament results, you're not looking at how skewed the players were. Because there wasn't that many like high tier Terrans in that ASL. Mind Flayer, yeah, but only because Sparkle had extra gas for Zerg. One thing I just want to show you guys. So, when you look at the island in the bottom left, the Zerg has access here to 1, 2, 3 gases straight away. Now if we look at the Terran player in the top left, look how far away the nearest gas base is. It's all the way up here. And there's actually creep here that's blocking this. So you can't take a third gas as Terran very easily whatsoever on this map. Or Protoss if you're on the mainland. Zerg can. Because of... Oh, whoa. I must have pressed Alt X or something instead of Alt Z. But that would have not been good. There is creep. It's just because, like, you see like this base. It's not been revealed yet, so you don't see the creep. Now HitEmUp doesn't know where his opponent spawned either, so he has to waste a scan at the other base. He now doesn't know how many bases his opponent has. So essentially Hirmu is in a good spot. Now we've got missile turrets coming up. These are actually quite early. I think he was expecting this to be a 2-hatch muter rather than a 3-hatch. Obviously the third hatchery is in a very good spot to sort of bounce back and forth between the two bases. You can defend and attack when you expand there, which is quite good for the Zerg player on the island. You've obviously got these hives that have the same amount of health as a normal hive, but they take forever to kill. So it does mean if the Terran wants a third base, they've got to spend a while killing that hive, whereas Zerg have the ability to expand. And as Radley said on the chat as well, because of the creep, if a Zerg player can get to hive, which is very, very likely on an island map, they'll be able to go for a Nidus and either take the other island or get units onto the mainland. And they don't have to worry about dropping. And the reason why Zerg kind of suck on island maps is because of how bad Overlord drops are, at least in the early game. Like, the Overlords are really slow, you need a lot of upgrades to make them worthwhile, whereas dropships are good from the start, and obviously shuttles are pretty good from the start as well. And obviously, usually the lack of gas comes into it as well, but this map, that isn't a problem. But here we go, looks like the Mutalist's going to try and come in, missing a shot there, not able to get the first shot down. But Hirmu trying to find his way into the base, looks like he forces a stim, pulls back, nicely done. The Mutalist count grows up to 10 now. I mean, HitEmUp is kind of overbuilt turrets here, but HitEmUp is probably feeling as long as I'm safe against the Mutalisks, I'll be in a good spot. Now, we've got a full control group of Mutas here, and they will kill these turrets very, very quickly. So, there's the first turret. First Muta does go down. That's a little bit unfortunate, but that's just how it is. Queen's Nest coming in already. Hirmu is going to get ready to go for his hive. Queens and Ensnare could be pretty good on this, because just as easily as Terran cannot be dropped, Terran can't do any dropping, especially when there's a full control group of Mutas running around. And here we go, he's going to fly into the main, not going to find any damage, force another stim from some of the units there. But Hirmu is playing this very well against HitEmUp here. Using a lot of the medic energy as well makes it very, very annoying. Oh, Hirmu losing control of his Mutalist there for a second. Losing a free Muta, definitely not something you want to be doing. More scans coming down by HitEmUp. Checks for a third base. Doesn't find it. He doesn't know about the base there at the moment with the gas, but here we're going to lose some more Mutalists. Not really doing too much damage. Does need to pull back. Looks like he took some of his Mutas off his control group to heal them up, which is nicely played. But the hive coming in going to be very important. It gives you the ability of going for +2. I think it's +3 attack it unlocks, doesn't it? I think you get +2 attack anyway. But it gets Devourers and Guardians. Now, Devourers and Guardians are so much better than any of the air that Terran has. Devourers wreck everything in the Terran air. Mutalists die to Valkyries when Valkyries are heavily upgraded. But realistically, you're not going to be able to get to heavily upgraded Valkyries against Devourers and Guardians, because this is the only base that Terran has with an additional gas, minus this one. Now, he can't get over there to take that just yet, and he's not going to be able to defend his ridge either, given how close it is to his opponent's base. You can't really deal with the units. Now, he is going to go Mass Valks. Now, Mass Valks are good. They don't do full damage to Guardians or Devourers, though. So that's definitely going to be causing a few problems. Forcing a few stims out again. Looks like he goes in a little bit too early there, but it's all good. He does force out the other stim. And he's just buying himself time here, and that is the main factor of this game. Back at home, we do have a Great Aspire coming in. We see the scan on the third base, as well as on the Great Aspire, so he knows everything that's coming in now. And I wonder if he's going to start going Wraiths. No, it looks like he is still going Valks. Is there an armory going for the +1 ship weapons? Yes, there is. HitEmUp definitely playing this very well. But HitEmUp is in a weird position where he can't actually do any damage to the Zerg. Where he's now forced into Valkyries, he can't get dropships to go and attack. And even if he gets dropships, look at the Scourge coverage. How do you get dropships in without vessels as well? And Valkyries aren't free. Valkyries are incredibly high in cost in minerals, and they cost a lot of gas as well. And Terran is only on 2 gas right now. He's got Bio, which is obviously going to help him defend against the early Mutalisks. He can't do any damage with it. Now, rushing for Nidus onto the onto the hive here, or even onto the hive here and going for defilers with any form of ground units, especially lurkers, would be very, very good. Because how does Terran defend their third against that? They're forced into a lot of air. Air is not good against ground whatsoever. other than battle cruisers, but battle cruisers kind of suck against Devourers. Now we've got a lot of Guardians coming in. HitEmUp does scan, does see the Guardian start to morph. And this is when we're going to see just how bad Valkyries are against Guardians. Obviously Devourers really help against Valks. Valks do take a while to die, but they do 6 damage per rocket. And the Guardian has... Sorry, the Guardian has 2 armor already, so that's 4 damage. And I think Valkyries do half damage to Guardians, so I think they do about 2 damage per missile. Yeah, I'm really liking how this game is turning out. Like, I feel like HitEmUp has maybe not played this right, but I don't know how he would play this right. He's doing a good job for the situation. Look at this. I love this many Valkyries. Okay, they're gonna kill all the Guardians if you group them up like that. And look at this. Oh my god, the Guardian or the Valks are gonna kill all the Mutalisks as well. Oh my goodness. Where were the Devourers? Where were the Mutalisks? Where was the splitting? The Cocoons can be killed here. All of Hirmu's army is going to go down. All of the units. Valkyries destroying everything here. Oh my goodness. The Valkyries are going to get all the Overlords as well. Yeah, HitEmUp is now playing this right. I didn't think that was going to work. But you know what, it did. And the Valkyrie's going to be able to clear everything in the sky. Hirmu is going to lose all of his overlords here, and now people are going to say, see, this is why the map is broken. Scourge spawning into Valkyrie fire. And finally, my favorite unit in the game gets some usage. Valkyries are so cool. Scourge cannot get anywhere near them. The third base at the middle only is up. The little umbrella protecting the SCVs there as well. I don't think it actually does anything. But Valkyries are really cool. This was definitely not a balance issue in any way, shape, or form, because Hirmu at any point could have flown in and seen mass Valkyries coming, and then he would not have gone for Guardians. And here we go, dropships are now coming in. There is a Devourer, but it's not going to be doing anything. GG, lots of bio being dropped out. Hirmu gonna tap out, nice try, but unfortunately, HitEmUp with his Valkyries coming in, cleaning face. And we'll be back in just a few minutes with game number 2. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be going into map number 2 as Desert Dwellers. It's a PvZ. It's going to be a good one. Let's get going. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand position, we do have the... I don't know if this is grey, it's kind of like silver Zerg player fighting for Ash. It's the one, the only, the Spanish player Squall. And his opponent spawning up here in the top right-hand position in the green, fighting for ReV. From... I don't actually know where this flag is, and I feel really guilty. It's Scarfs, fighting for ReV. That's our Protoss player. I don't think I said Protoss player before. I'm gonna check where he's from because I feel guilty not knowing. Is that Hungary? Is that the Hungarian flag? Oh, it's Austria. It's Austria. Sorry, my bad. I was close with my Hungary guess, but I was wrong. Hungary is green on top. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm really bad with flags. Not as bad as many people because I see a lot of flags all the time because of STPL. But the ones that I don't see very often I can never remember. Like, I think Scarf's maybe the only Austrian player in the STPL, possibly. Is that in Austria? Is it not? Hold on, Scarfs. Yeah, it's Austria. Mindflayer saying he's red-green colorblind, so don't listen to him. I know more than just the Union Jack. The ones that are bad with flags are Americans. The ones with the Americans, like, they spend so long in school, and I know there's a lot of American viewers who watch the STPL, so I'm not gonna... From what I've heard from Americans, you spend a lot of time in geography in school learning about the state geography, like the state geography of America, because America is so big, and there's so much to learn. It's essentially difficult for them to learn everything else as well. I know Aeternum is from Latvia, so I know that. I know that flag. I've seen the Latvian flag enough. Okay, back to the game. We've got 2-gate in Scarfs' main, so Scarfs is going to be playing this very aggressively. It's not often you see 2-gate anymore in PvZ just because it is so risky. But is it going to work? It looks like we do have a quick double expansion coming in from Squall, so Squall isn't going to have many units to defend against this. But if he can survive, he is going to be in such a good position. He's only just now starting to mine gas, so there's going to be no link speed, and he is going to be on 9 drones for the time being. He won't be able to build any further, but there's going to be 3, soon to be 5 zealots heading on over to his base. Now, of course, Squall does know everything that's going on due to his overlord, but Scarfs needs to make something happen with this. He can't just sit back and wait. He has to make damage happen, otherwise he is going to be very, very far behind. 2-gate in PvZ is a very do-or-die build. If you don't make damage happen, you're not going to win the game. Now, he can wait for some more zealots. It's not the end of the world. And he has to worry about Zergling counterattacks, which is why he's playing a little bit careful. We've only got enough gas being mined for Zergling speed, and then he's going to go back home and mine some minerals. Okay, this is a lot of lings. Looks like he is playing very, very carefully with this 2-gate. He's going to use it to expand, so he is going to go for a Nexus. This isn't the best use of 2-gate, but realistically, the position he's in, he has to defend against the lings that are coming towards his base. Oh my goodness, Ling speed finishes the Lings, get into the main base as well. And this could be a very, very quick win for Ash here, because Squall is going to jump on top of the Nexus. There's a lot of Zealots, but if he kills this Nexus, there's going to be no more mining, at least until the other Nexus finishes. And that Nexus is under fire as well. Looks like the Ling's going to try and come in from another angle, going to take off that window so we can see exactly what's going on. Looks like he is going to catch some more Zealots down here. There's not many Lings left, so he has killed a lot of them. And he doesn't kill any of the Nexuses, but he's still in a good spot. If we keep an eye on the Zealot health, it's very, very high for now, so he shouldn't be losing to the Lings. He's done a pretty good job at defending against this. Looks like the Ling's getting caught up on the probes. The Ling's trying to get in to the main base, but going to be unable to do that. Only one does survive, so all in all, Scarf's actually managed to defend that pretty well. But here we go, more Lings coming in. Looks like a Forge is trying to come up, but shouldn't be able to do too much. The Lings do not want to fight the Zealots. They want to go for some damage in the main. Attacking the Nexus would be a good call, but he's going to go for some probes. Due to the others, the Lings coming in, Zealots haven't actually been sent back yet. Here we go, they're finally coming in. 2 probes going down. Ling's still alive. Squall with very good micros. Squall is really playing very, very well recently. Squall used to be a very, very good player in the foreign scene, and he's showing once again that he can get there again. In Season 3, he struggled, I think, a little bit because he was very rusty. It had been a while since he'd played properly. But his gameplay this season has been really, really good. He's still got 2 Lings in the main. He's going to see the Stargate. Back at home, he's going into his 4th hatchery. No 5th hatchery just yet. He doesn't have many drones. Oh, actually he does. He's got 24 drones up on his opponent of 21. And yeah, this is very, very nicely done by Squall. Like, Scarfs, unfortunately, he went for a build that didn't really work out. And Squall has been playing perfect. Like, the insane thing is, he's countering the one thing with the one unit the 2-gate is supposed to stop. But because the Forge was so delayed, because there was no cannon, Squall has just been able to get in over and over again with Lings and just keep doing damage. Scarfs does get a probe in that sees the, well, sees what's going on. He sees the 4th hatchery, but I don't think he's seen the expansion just yet. Yeah, he's not seen the 3rd base, so he doesn't know the 3rd base is down there. 5th hatchery coming in as well. I've just realized something I really should do. Move this up a little bit, up and across. Now when a followed message comes up, it won't block the time. Now there is a Corsair out that does get a free Overlord kill, but he's not going to be able to use it to scout, at least for the time being. There will be Scourge coming out here for Squall. He's got his 2nd gas coming up. 5th hatchery is of course done. And Squall is in a very, very strong position. He's up in probes. He's almost up in supply, which is something that really shouldn't be happening to a Protoss player this early in the game. Oh my goodness, okay, so the Scourge get caught. They do not kill any of the Corsairs, which is good. Let's zoom back in again. I always find myself being slightly zoomed out. I hope you guys don't mind it, but I prefer it so much more. Because the thing is, the overlays are so big, like if you zoom out just a little bit, it feels like you get to see more. Templar Archives coming up in the top right hand side of the map. It is 2 Stargate, which means we shouldn't see any, well, we shouldn't see any Mutalisk coming, because that would actually be the death of him. But he is going to start to push out with his Zealot. Zealot leg speed is only just now started. So this isn't going to do maybe as much as it could do, because it's going to give time for the Hydralisk to come out, for the defense to come out against the Zealots, and that is really going to put a hamper on Scarf's plans. I think Scarf's has played okay, but every single plan he's gone for, every single move he's tried to make, Squall was there watching him, waiting, and then just reacting perfectly every single time. Asher definitely looking very strong in this series. Now, Scarfs does clean up the Hydras at the front, but that is just one of many. There are so many Hydras coming in from home, and this is going to be a big problem. Look how many cannons are coming up, though. If he can hold for long enough for the cannons to finish, he can maybe hold on to this, but it's going to be close. If the Hydras get on top of the cannons before they finish, the cannons are going to melt like butter. Looks like the first cannons are finishing, but there's so many Hydras. Is it going to matter? The probes getting taken down as well. The supply lead for Squall just gets higher and higher. And it looks like some of the cannons coming down again. The Forge is actually in focus. He should kill the cannons instead. And looks like he is going to notice that a little bit too late. Does get one on the cannons. Can he get the second one? Yes, he can. And there's so many cannons here, but it just doesn't seem to matter. There's so few probes now for Scarfs. There's so few of anything left on this map other than Corsairs. And unfortunately, Corsairs are not going to win you the game. Templar Archives was late, so Storm is going to be late as well. And with that, I think that is going to be the end of the game. Scarfs has played valiantly, but Squall once again takes another victory here and really proves why he was one of the best. And gets this is his second win in a row. The only game he's lost recently was against Tarson. The good game is called by Scarf. Squall takes game number 2, and that's going to take us into game 3 after this short break. See you guys soon. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading into game number 3. This time we've got the Ghost King Radley against Aeternum from ReV. Let's see how it goes as we get into game number 3. Okay, starting us off down here in the bottom left-hand corner in the red, fighting for ReV, it's Aeternum from Latvia. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner, it is the Ghost King himself, in yet another TvP, it's Ash's Radley. And Chad, that was Tetris DS. There was a mode in Tetris DS called Battle, and it was that where you like do a like tug of war with Tetris. It was really, really cool, and that's why I recorded it, because I came from the generation where like everyone I knew owned a DS, right? I'm 30, obviously. Every single person I know owned a DS, and everyone had Tetris DS. It was so good. Such a good multiplayer game. The online was fantastic as well. I love Tetris. I love Puyo Puyo as well, but I'm so bad at it. Okay, so we've got a forward gateway coming in here from Aeternum. Radley, meanwhile, is going to be going for a barracks. It's a very, very standard build. Now, Radley's games often end up going very, very long. So I think we could have a long game here coming for us, which is cool. He actually beat Dragon on Blindside recently. He's been struggling a lot in TvP, and he finally got a win, and it was a very, very good win against Dragon as well. It was a big upset, I would say. Like, obviously Radley is a very good player, but Dragon is one of the best players on NAS, one of the best Protoss players in the foreign scene, and Radley took him down, and it was a hell of a game as well. So definitely one to look out for, but Radley beat his losing streak, which had gone on for a very long time, but he always ended up against some really strong players. So being able to beat Dragon was a very big win for him, very big win for the STPL, and very big win for Terran, because Terran in STPL really seems to struggle. We haven't seen it, well, yeah, we saw HitEmUp win today, so I suppose that doesn't count. But until this series, we've not seen a Terran win in a few days. Obviously, when the Korean teams play the Terrans, there's more of them, so we're more likely to get a Terran winning. But foreign teams don't have many Terrans in, so having Radley play Terran is very, very cool. He got his nickname the Ghost King by being one of the only players in the STPL to use ghosts almost consistently. We're going to see him scout out the Zealot coming towards him, so he's going to know that he's going to need the SimC, which he's already built. He's going to pull his Marines away from the ramp because the other Zealot is already here. I didn't even notice that I'd left the base yet, but the factory is going to be delayed. We've got another depot coming in to help the SimCity here. Very, very nicely done by Radley. Nice SimCity here, making this a little bit harder for the Zealots to get all the damage they want. Look at this. Nicely done, nicely controlled. But the factory is still not done, and with no factory, it means you've got no follow-up. First Zealot does go down. Second Zealot going to be taking a lot of damage. Doesn't get any hits on the Marines. Is this Radley playing? Or is this Flash? Because this is really good Marine micro. I guess it'd more be Boxer, because the first ever STPL I ran, it was in 2015, and everyone picked the name of a player that they used to love back in the day to play as, like an alias. It was like a fantasy pro league, essentially. And Radley played as Boxer. And you can tell why. He loves his micro. And he always plays very weird builds. Well, not weird builds, but he plays very Radley builds that I like. If you were to go back in time, you can imagine Boxer doing them as well. But yeah, not losing a... Wait, did he lose a single Marine there? I don't think he did. No, he didn't. So he's going to push forward with his Marines and his Vulture. The first Dragoon is not yet out. It will be finished by the time he gets over there, but range isn't done. So he could actually get the first Dragoon here, which would be really good. Oh, sorry, this is the second Dragoon. Here's the first Dragoon. But that Dragoon's even in a worse position, because that's going to take more damage from the Vulture than it needs to. The Marine's going to move forward. It loses all of its shields. Vultures, of course, only do full damage to shield. So... Okay, oh, he loses the first Vulture. That's actually a pretty big mistake, but he is going to be able to focus now on one of the Dragoons, most likely. 3 Marines against 2 quite heavily damaged Dragoons, so very, very nicely done. A third Dragoon is about to pop out, so this should be cleaned up, but nice focus firing. He's going to focus fire the damage dragoons. He wants to kill them. He gets one. Can he get the other one? That would actually be a pretty big pickup, but no, it doesn't look like he will. But still, what is coming up? So we have tanks. There was no mines on the way, I don't believe. So losing the vulture isn't the biggest deal. Obviously, mines would have helped him out significantly. But Radley just playing safe as well. Checking for any proxies. He could also proxy his own building as well. We've definitely seen Radley do that before in the STPL. But Radley has even got an SCV in the main base. The SCV gets taken down though. Cast the curse that, didn't I? But looks like 3 gateways being added on. Is there any additional tech? No additional tech just yet. But this is a pretty good game so far. And there we have it. A hidden third by Radley. So Radley continues to play in a very Radley-esque style. I can safely say that in the entire foreign scene there is not a single Terran player that plays like Radley. I would say like when I was playing all the time, I couldn't play as good as Radley, but I was playing like kind of builds like Radley did. Like I kind of looked up to Radley for ideas, and like whenever we used to play TBT, it was always really fun because it would always go super late game, and we'd like Radley would get mass ghost or something, and I'd be trying to deal with it, or there'd be games where I'd go ghosts and like he'd still win. Like usually he'd beat me because he is a better player than I am, but they were always really fun games. So always fun to play a TBT with Radley. Radley's TBT is the most like entertaining matchup to watch. And Radley showed a couple of weeks ago, he can play standard and he can do really well with it. He played standard against, who was it? It was Yeti, I think it was. He played perfectly standard up until the very late game. And he very nearly won the game. It was such a close game. Radley just plays the way he enjoys. And if anything, if you're like playing Brood War, or you're new to playing Brood War, and you're getting kind of stressed, because it is very easy to get stressed playing Brood War, and I'm going to be honest, it's why I don't play really at all. I haven't played properly in like 8 months. Now we've got the third base coming up for Aeternum, of course, but essentially I hadn't played Brood War since April until I joined the CPL, and then I played 3 games for week 1 of the preseason. And yeah, I showed off the hidden third before, but he's expanding, yeah. Tanks in the main, tank in the natural, going to be defending against any Protoss aggression here. But essentially, Brood War is a really stressful game, and if you're going to play it the way you feel like you're having fun. Because if you're grinding, and you're grinding standard builds, and you're just getting frustrated that you're losing, and you're... Like, when you're frustrated that you're losing, you're not really learning. Like... Yeah, I mean, you can learn, but I found, especially whenever I've learned anything, maybe this is just me, but if you play the way you want to play, A, you'll get better at it, as long as it's got some basis on, like, what you can actually do and what actually works. But even then, like, if you want to go bio against Protoss, and you just practice nothing but that, and you have a lot of fun even if you lose, you can get really good with Bio versus Protoss. Like, Bio versus Protoss works at the pro level. It's just rare because it's so hard to do. But if that's the way you enjoy playing the game, play that way. You don't have to play standard if you don't want to. And you can still do really well if you don't play standard. Like, not having fun means you won't learn anything. Radley gets the observer, pretty big pick-off, but there is another observer in his base, which he's probably going to have to waste another scan on to kill. And I don't think he has any scans left. He's got 1, so he'll have to kill it. Radley, an advocate of going for wraiths against Protoss. It does work sometimes, sometimes it doesn't. He nearly beat Bonith with it on Neo Chain Reaction at the end of Season 3. Or Season 2, I can't remember which season it was. It was like Wraith versus Carriers, and it was really cool. Yeah, go back to my point, if you want to play Brood War, just play it in the way you want to play it. You don't have to play super standard if you don't want to. Like me, you don't have to sit on Fighting Spirit grinding it over and over again. Like, I got so bored when I first started playing Brood War, because back then the main map was Heartbreak Ridge in 2008 and 2009. Everyone was like, play Heartbreak Ridge. IC Cup, play Heartbreak Ridge. Everyone plays Heartbreak Ridge. Heartbreak Ridge and Python, and then Fighting Spirit came along. And I just got bored. Like, I didn't want to play those maps. Okay, admittedly, I'm still bad. Like, I'm still really bad compared to most people. But at least I had fun when I was playing. Like, a lot of people need to be realistic and think that essentially in Brood War, it's very unlikely that you're going to ever be a pro gamer. So unless you are aiming to be a pro gamer, just be happy with playing. Now, to go back to the game, of course, we've got 5 gateways at the moment. Citadel coming up, Templar Archives, well, Templar Archives coming up, Citadel done. We've got a hidden, well, it's not really hidden, but a 4th base coming up for Aeternum. This is going to allow him to take the other main, which will give him the ability to build bases over there. The weird thing about the way Radley is playing this game is the fact that he's not actually moved out of his base yet. He has stayed perfectly still back at home. He's only now just getting vulture speed. The science facility is done. Are we going to see a covert ops this game? I'm not too sure. We've got weapon upgrade coming in for his tanks. That'll give him +2. Yeah, Luna was cool. Blue Storm was cool, but then playing Blue Storm all the time was kind of boring as well. If you wanted a long game, Blue Storm was a good map, because Blue Storm always went ages. Here we go. We've got Radley moving out on the map for the first time. We do have a covert ops coming up. And look at this. Radley, the Ghost King, going for his signature unit. And is he going to make it work? We've got the cannons being targeted down by the vultures. This is going to be some wasted money by the Protoss. Very, very nice target firing by Radley. But yeah, we've got ghosts again. If you're an STPL sub or you've got channel points, there is an STPL ghost emote that you can use if you want to use that in chat for any reason. You can use channel points to trade for an emote for a day, so you want to do that. We saw a lot of lockdown arbiters in the previous games with Radley, so I wonder if we'll see that again. Looks like loads of people spamming the ghost emote now. Nicely done. Lockdown coming in. Lockdown is incredibly good, not only against carriers, but against arbiters as well. And the only real reason you don't see it in pro level is A, it's expensive, and B, it's very hard to micro ghosts. Like, microing them properly is so unbelievably difficult. And when you go for ghosts, you're using a lot of gas that isn't going into tanks. And they're not as strong. But here we go. Looks like we are going to have a lot of the zealots being taken down at the front, the tanks at the back not being stormed. The ones at the front are though, but that's a good hold by Radley. Aeternum's going to have to pull back, and that is definitely not going to go as well for Aeternum as it hoped. Radley starting to get his 4th base. The fact he's on a hidden 3rd has really, really helped him this game. Lockdown is done, so we're probably going to see Ghost Sight Range come in, but here we go, a Storm Drop coming into the main base. Most of the SCVs have just been transferred to the 3rd though, so this isn't going to do too much. Vulture's already back home trying to defend against this as well, so here we go, Zealot, High Templar. High Templar shouldn't be able to kill too many SCVs with this. Does get 3, not the end of the world for Radley. Radley on 69 SCVs, a very nice number. We've got Ghost Cloak coming in. Sight range can be very good as well. We've got some wraiths coming in as well. Now, do we have a nuke silo? No, it's going to be a comsat station. Now, nukes are a very risky deal. They cost 6 supply, they cost a lot of gas, and if the ghost dies, you lose the nuke. So, sometimes going for nukes can be more a detriment than it is a help. Now, there is buildable terrain in the middle of the map, so it wouldn't surprise me to see Radley push forward and build some turrets to help defend his tanks. We've got some nice scans coming down, checking where the army is, checking what the tech is going to be. Now, where is the Stargate? Does he not have a Stargate yet? He doesn't. He went for Templar Archives to go for High Templar. This is very similar to the style that MasterReY used to play, when you go for a lot of High Templar. And looks like we are going to have another engagement here. There's not many factories building vultures, so a lot of vultures are actually stuck, and this is causing a block, so a lot of units going to struggle to get down to the army. The army moving around to the 3rd base. Does Aeternum see the 4th? He doesn't. But here we go. The units coming in from behind. He locked down. Oh, he locks down his vulture by accident. That was a misclick. He wanted to go for the shuttle, but did miss. Does happen. He's going to lift his 3rd base. He can't defend against this, but he still has his 4th, so all is well and good. Now, the Zealot's going to come in. They're going to get blocked off the bunker. If he can repair this, the bunker should be a good chokehold against the units. Now, the Dragoons are going to get trapped here. This is essentially the end of this army. This army is not going to get out. He needs to save his armory, though, if he can. But looks like a lot of the units from behind actually getting stuck on the 2 tanks that have sieged up. Repair coming in, saves the armory. And now Radley is in a pretty good spot. His 3rd base did die, so he will have to rebuild the command center. But he's alive. And that is the most important thing in a TVP. If you're alive, if you've got +3 attack coming, you can achieve anything. Now, we do have vultures laying mines all over the main. Very nice SimCity by Radley back at home to help defend against this. The comsat is not burning down, even though I thought it was. Now, one of the things I've seen from Radley, nice lockdown on the shuttle. Obviously, there's nothing in it, so not super important. But this is going to allow the Goliath to kill that. Oh, the Goliath is going to run into the Dragoons instead. That's a little bit unfortunate. Storm on the Vultures. Mines on the Vultures as well. Oh my goodness, this isn't looking good for Radley, but that's nice. Okay, SCV's moving up here. I don't know why he's sending those. They've got gas. He needs that gas, but the Marine's getting the shuttle there. He needs more Vultures, though. That's going to be a big problem. Look at these mines. They're so risky. If a single Zealot runs into all those mines, all of those tanks are dead. He has to move back. Now, Terran don't have feedback, of course. They do have EMP, but that's on the science vessels, not on the ghosts, unlike in StarCraft 2, if you come from a StarCraft 2 background. But Radley has got a good number of factories now. He's able to remax pretty quickly. We have gateways coming up at the other main, though, which is a very big, powerful move in PvT. Now, none of the tanks are sieged at the moment, so this is going to be a little bit risky. He's going to siege in the mines even. Luckily enough, some of the mines get eaten by a High Templar, and all of them get pulled away from the tanks here. Definitely the best case scenario. Now, there's double Robo, but there's still no Stargate. And no Stargate means these ghosts aren't going to really be able to do anything without nuking. Now, this ghost is going to get another lockdown on another shuttle. Radley's tank army is incredibly strong right now. 3-2 upgrades against 2-0. And if he can reinforce this, if he can bring some SCVs up here to build turrets, he's going to be able to take out the expansions. And Radley looks like he's coming into a position to be able to win this game. But here we go. We have the Protoss player once again going for a counter. There's not many mines back here, and he does have observers with his army, so he's going to be able to clean this up. But if he loses his other 2 bases, he's only down to 2 mining bases. Radley is going to be way ahead. Now, Vulture's laying some mines out the front, going to try and use some of his tanks as bait. The Dragoons are the real units you have to kill. He is focus firing his tanks on those. Another tank shot going to kill 3 Dragoons. And it looks like Aeternum may be losing this game here. Radley definitely looking strong. All the TVP practice he's had has really helped. All of the games he's played recently essentially have been TVP. And it can really show. He's playing really, really strong here. It's been a really nice TVP. Even with the Ghost not being able to do too much, we still saw a couple of lockdowns. And he is up ahead by 50 supply. All of his tanks in the top right-hand corner, or the top middle, are still alive. He's on 4 mining bases. Aeternum never saw the other base. He does not know Radley is on so many bases right now. And looks like we did have a possible drop, but I mean, this is a nice move. Maybe he can kill some SCVs, but it's the army he has to worry about, and the army is what he cannot kill. He does not have the units to be able to deal with it. He is going to fly into the natural. This could be a good spot, but once again, a Wraith is going to kill another shuttle here. 2 kills. This guy is going home to Earth a hero if he's in the UED. If not, he's going back to Tarsonis. I think Tarsonis is the place where Mengsk is, right? Must have mean like Terran world in the Outer Rim or whatever they call it in Brood War. I know the Outer Rim is Star Wars, isn't it? But look at this. Radley, King Radley, Ghost King, repairing his units like a boss. It looks like we do have that third base. He can expand to a fourth, but it's the units and the army that he's going to struggle with. And Radley is putting down a lot of mines absolutely everywhere. He's splitting his army up. This has been the downfall of Radley in the past. If he loses all of his units, he's going to be in a bad spot. But it's going to take a miracle to lose all of them. Looks like he's going to come in from behind. Nice Storm on the Vultures, going to clear all of them. Storm is a very good skill to have. Looks like turrets coming in to help defend against the shuttles that are coming in here. The Vultures getting into the mineral line. Units coming in from behind. Observer usage, very, very nice though by Aeternum this game. But Radley is going to kill the final remaining mining base of Protoss. He's trying to expand up here to the top left-hand corner. He's trying to go for a counter-attack. But I just don't think it's going to work. We've got oh my god, the Ghost nearly died to a mine. Looks like there is a lot of units here, so Radley does have to be careful, losing a lot of his own units to mines. But still in a good spot. Ghost range is really good. They only do 10 damage, but the range is really high. If you put them in a bunker, they can like shoot across the map. It's brilliant. Now we've got 2 tanks up here. Gonna try and siege up, get as much damage as they can before they die. They're trying to focus fire the High Templar, but don't quite get it. But Aeternum's mined out. This is the final base he has on the map that's mining. Radley still has a third that's healthy. He's still got a fourth that's kind of healthy as well. He's expanding to a fifth. And here is the death push coming in. He's going to go for 3 lockdowns here, I think. No, he doesn't have the energy for it. He's got 1 lockdown. Is he going to try and lock down the High Templar? That would be pretty good. He snipes off one of the observers. I don't even think there's any reason to lock down, but I think he's going to do it for style points. There we go. Gets the shuttle for no reason. Nice Storm coming in. Okay, 2 of the... Oh, is he going to lock down one of the Dragoons? Is he going to lock down the High Templar? Doesn't look like he is. He's gonna lock down the shuttle again. I mean, this will guarantee that he'll eventually kill it, but there we go. And there we go. GG. Aeternum taps out. Radley wins his 2nd game in a row. And the comeback of the Ghost King is on the way. Free the Dodal or no nuke, says Radley. Well, that's how it is. So let's head on over to another break. When we get back, we'll go into the final game of the series. I can't remember what it is. The night has been long. Let's see it when we get back. That is the wrong screen. Here we go. Okay, welcome back. We're going to be heading into game number 4, the 4th and final game of this series. We had a great game 3, a great game 1 and 2 as well. Are we going to have a great game 4 as well? It's on Paradise. It's going to be a PvZ. It's VIR versus Dreamer. I fixed VIR's flag as well. So let's get into it. It's game number 4. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand position, we have from Russia, it's Dreamer fighting for Ash as our green Protoss player. And then his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner, fighting for ReV. It's from Sweden. It's the magenta Zerg player, VIR. Okay, we've got Dreamer going for most likely a Forge Fast Expand here, sending his probe out to scout very quickly. VIR has gone for the gas trick. There's no Overlord building yet, so it's very likely going to be a 10 pool here. Could be a 10 hatch, that would definitely be a weird choice, but it is something I've seen before. And that's what it's going to be. He's going to send his drone up, go for the quick expansion. Now this could get cannon rushed. We saw it in the last game. Looks like Dreamer is not going to be in a position to block the hatchery. He does scout it coming in though. Now I thought it was going to be a forge, but it's going to be a gateway, so he is going for a gateway expand. But it's whether or not he can do enough damage. Now if he can block with his probe the drones building the spawning pool, then he could be in a very good position. It's going to be tough though. It's not easy to do and looks like he isn't going to try. So, I mean, they can build the spawning pool anywhere on creep. It really doesn't matter. So it's probably not worth that. But we are going to have a 9 pool and then a 9 gas coming in as well after the 10 hatch. So this is going to be a Ling all-in coming in from VIR, I think. But it's whether or not he's going to be able to defend against the Zealots that are going to be coming his way. Now this is of course going to be the last game of today's stream. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed today. I definitely feel like it's been a good series. So there've been a good couple of series today actually. Wednesday, just while we're coming to the end of everything. This game could be a long one, but we've got DM versus Naz on Wednesday. And then we've got Net Wars versus Soul and RK versus Wiko on Friday. So we should have some good series coming up for the rest of the week as well. Now the first Zealot is on the way. The first Lings are not quite yet out. But they're about to spawn. We do have Ling Speed coming in already. He did go for Ling Speed immediately. Now the Zealot and the Probe combo are going to be able to take out a couple of the probes. A couple of the Lings. He's going to fall back to his second Zealot, and let's see what the Zealot micro is going to be like, because Zealots are very strong. Good night, Aska. Thanks for watching. Here we go. It looks like Zealot's going to get surrounded. One of the Zealots is going to get surrounded, but good micro so far by Dreamer. Going to allow him to do a pretty good job trading well with those Zerglings. But there's only 9 drones. There's more and more Lings being produced out of every single egg. And there's no forge. The Zealot's starting to come across the map again. There's 2 alive. If he can get back to his wall, he's going to be in an okay spot. But with Ling Speed finishing, I think we're going to see VIR press the button. And there we go. He's clicked on his opponent's base most likely. and the Lings are going to run through. If they can get these Zealots, there is going to be nothing defending at home. Now, looks like Dream are going to use this ramp, a very nice map feature to take advantage of, to try and trade the best he possibly can with the Lings. And that is going to minimize the amount of damage that he gets at home. I nearly said monetize. Also, Shad, I didn't censor anything. I asked them if they could use a different avatar or a different logo, because I said I didn't want to put their logo on the screen, because I thought it looked unprofessional. So, looks like Dreamer is going to let the Lings into his base. There wasn't really much he could do about it, given the fact there was so many Lings out the front. The first cannon coming in. Dreamer's still in an okay spot. He's not really lost too much. There is still only 9 drones back at the back at home. Yeah, the Dawdle is the Penis Clan logo. I didn't really want to put that on stream, but here we go. Looks like the cannon's going to go down. The probes have gone down at the front, and I think this could be the end of Dreamer. VIR is going to give ReV most likely a win in this series. More Lings are coming over. The first pylon is going to go down, which means no cannons, at least at the back. They chose that logo because their name is their clan name is literally Shaved Balls and Penis in German. Yeah, that's what Red stands for. Rassia Erde Dodel, or Dodel or something. I don't know how to say it. But I think their elephant looks so much better. Yeah, but I mean, Dreamer's dead. VIR's done a good job. He went for an all-in and it worked. Dreamer did he did his best to try and hold on with what he had, but unfortunately there's just too many Lings. Now back at home, he does have a cannon. He built a cannon in his main. He's going for 2 gateways. But when you lose your natural, when you lose your gateway, you can't come back from this as Dreamer. Like you've only got 1 cannon. You would need a miracle to win this game, and I think the game is about to end here. We've got more Lings heading on over from VIR's base. He's still on 9 drones. He hasn't built a single drone after his initial 11 he built. And there we go. Here we go. He's going to jump on top of the cannon. The cannon goes down almost immediately to just 3 or 4 Lings. And this is going to be game over. 5 probes, 4 probes, 3 probes, 2 probes, 1 probe. GG. No probes remain. Oh, that's because he left. It's game number 4 coming to an end with VIR winning the final game in the series for his team. And that is, of course, going to give them at least 1 win. So that's pretty good. But Dreamer definitely suffered at the hands of an evil Zerg. And I mean, that's what happens. Can't really do anything about it. Now, if we head on over, we can have a look at the results. Just need to add the final result to the overlay. That is going to, of course, be a win for Team Ash. The win overall is obviously Ash is here. Just added it to the database as well. But essentially, a nice series. We had some really good games here. The first game was good. HitEmUp versus Hirmu. Hirmu was in an incredibly good position, and then he just kind of didn't prepare for his opponent to go mass Valkyries, even though he was going mass air. So he kind of got a little bit blind countered, even though he did kind of know it was coming. It's just one of those things that happens sometimes. There's not really much you can do about that other than just see how it goes. And unfortunately, when he saw how it went, it didn't go very well. The Valkyries killed absolutely everything. Our second game was a pretty good ZvP. Squall showing why he's such a good player. I definitely feel like poor old Scarfs didn't stand much of a chance that game. Radley versus his opponent. Who was his opponent? It was Aeternum. Was a very action-packed game. We had Ghosts, which is really cool. Obviously, the Ghost King, if you don't know him, Radley, known for his ghosts in the STPL, winning the game or winning the series for his team. And then, of course, we had VIR winning the pride at the end of it all, not losing 4-0. Definitely going to be feeling good for ReV. It's a bit sad they did lose, but it's how it goes sometimes. That's basically what you're looking at. Like, you don't want to lose 4-0. Essentially 4-0 it kind of feels worse than 3-1, right? You still lose, but you've still got a little bit of dignity. Not that dignity really comes into Brood War. ReV play because they want to have fun. They've got some good players. They're all really good friends, and they practice quite a lot. Losing Medinho has been a pretty big deal for their roster because Medinho was like their star player, and so was Avilov in the previous season, but he retired from Brood War altogether. But overall, I would say that today has been a really, really good set of series. I hope you guys will join me on Wednesday for Naz versus, who did I say it was? Naz versus DM. And then, of course, a huge thank you to our sponsors, Esport Fund for the $1,000 towards the initial prize pool, the donations we've had on MasterReY, as well as MasterReY going for the codes as well as always. If you do want to support the STPL, you can do it free of charge with the code STPLS4 on the MasterReY link that should be appearing in chat in just a second if someone types the ! donate command. A massive thank you as well to all our patrons, any subs, and anyone of course watching, because without you guys it wouldn't be nearly as fun to do the STPL in the way I do, and of course without the players there wouldn't be an STPL to begin with. So a huge thank you to all of the captains, all of the players. That is going to be me signing out for today. Thank you so much for watching along with me. It's been a long day of casting today, but there we have it. I'll see you guys next time. If you're watching this, you're watching the STPL. Hopefully you've been enjoying what you've seen so far. If you want to help me make more STPL content to bring more tournaments to you, please support us on Patreon, which you can find up here. And also, there's so many different things you can get through Patreon. One of the main and one of the easiest ones to get is, of course, access to all of the replays of the STPL so far. We've had some amazing games, such as some of the games you can see just over here.